So I'm here with Joe Bryan from Payoff Pitch and Bankshot Basketball. Joe, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Dave. Always happy to be here.
So is this your first Plaay.con, or have you been to more than one?
This is my second
The
place.
second one, okay.
Yeah.
And you went last year?
Last year was my first, yes.
Okay. And what are some of the things you enjoy about the convention?
Mostly just meeting everyone. Some of the people I've met at other events. In addition to this one, there's been other gaming events such as yours, which I unfortunately did not make, but hopefully next year. So just reconnecting with everyone, and then you always meet new people, and we're all here to play games and to be part of the community. So it's the best. It's the best place, especially when you're home. A lot of times you're just playing solo.
Yeah.
You come here and you can always find someone to play a game with,
Yeah.
talk about the games, and just have a good time.
A lot of people talk about the conversations.
Yes.
Is that, we all play in our house, we're in our basement, doing our thing. Nothing wrong with that, but that's just what we do. A lot of us do. And then you come to one of these, and as I was talking to, I don't know if it was Kurt or Steve Tower, says, it feels like you got like a whole year of pent-up conversation. Because when you play these, like, I don't know about you, but when I play these games, so many fun things happen. I want to tell somebody.
Right.
Now, luckily for me, I have a podcast and a YouTube channel, so I can tell people about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can't. And they come here, and the stories abound about the games that we play. That's like 90% of the fun of these things.
Yes, I agree. That's why I'm trying to keep coming back every year now.
Now, this year, there's a lot of, I would say, game developers, I'll call them. I consider you a game developer. You got you got ST, Rob Gallimore, I think, has done some gaming. Obviously, Keith being here. Grant Fines is here. Clay Dresslock is here. And if there's someone else, I'm sorry I'm missing. But a lot of game developers here. And do you find yourself talking to them a little bit too?
Yeah. Last year, Clay was also here. Gary Brown from Legends of Boxing.
Yeah.
He was here. So I spent a good chunk of time talking to them last year. This year, Grant and I talked a lot last night. So yeah, it's nice. We kind of bounce ideas off each other, share ideas we're having.
Yeah.
So it's
talk about like the good and the bad about it too.
Yeah. That's normally what ST and I will talk about, just in general.
Yeah.
Maybe not game specifics, but we'll just talk about the games in general. How people react to them.
Yeah.
How we can make things better.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the, as a developer, what are some of the fun things that you get out of developing these games?
For me, it's just it's an outlet for my creativity. And so I grew up playing Stratomatic, Pursue the Pennant, other games that probably no one's ever heard of. And but for me, just creating has always been more of the draw to the games. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, that's an interesting mechanic, or I could probably make something like this. And especially when you grow up without a lot of disposable income.
Yeah.
I just made my own games because it was cheaper and they were just as fun as pulling out Stratomatic. So
I like how Bankshot basketball, which, as you know, I've been playing a lot of.
Yep.
It's a very similar style to Payoff Pitch, where you have the 2D10 roll and the 2D6 roll, and it works out really well. Payoff Pitch came first, right?
It did, yes.
Okay, and then you had the SSG. I played a little bit basketball, which was fine, but Bankshot, I think, is a far superior game, just because of how it is. When you went into Bankshot, were you thinking the 2D10, 2D6 roll the entire way going into that?
Yeah. So that's sort of what the three games I put out, the SSG basketball, Payoff Pitch, and Bankshot. That's what I have at home. So that's what I've used. Yeah.
That gives you a big enough variety.
It does, because with 10-sided dice you can get 100 results, and then if you roll the 2 6-sided dice, that's 36 outcomes.
Yeah.
So it's really 36 times 100, so that's 3,600.
Now, with both of you, we'll just kind of stick with Payoff pitch and Bankshot basketball because that's what I play. Are you still trading seasons for them and backfilling in some seasons for them?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Not as quickly as I'd like to, but yeah, Payoff pitch takes a while.
There's a lot of players, I imagine.
There's a lot of players, and I have to make sure the interaction between the defense ballpark and pitcher cards, batter cards, all
Is any
meshed
of that
together. So.
is any of that automated? I mean, I can't imagine that you got to look at every single guy and come up with unique results for that guy, or is it kind of, like I said, I'm not a developer, so I don't know. But can you go into like Baseball Reference or another site and say, okay, this is going to be this and it's going to be that, or I imagine there's got to be some kind of an automated process to
Yeah, there's formulas, and most of them I can put them into like an Excel spreadsheet. So I would say at least 80% is automated. So the process generally is create the initial ratings. Then I go for the pitchers. I go through each one and just make sure that, because for the pitchers, the rating process, it's automated, but the formulas don't always work out.
fine tune them maybe.
Yeah, they don't always work. So it's a lot of going through them. I have a program that I can run the results through.
Oh, nice.
So it replays every at bat as it occurred. So it's not like a game where it just replays the at bat with the pitcher and the batter.
I see.
So it doesn't. If it deviates, it doesn't matter. If the three hitters get 3 singles instead of making 3 outs, it still goes to the next team.
Right, I see.
In the next matchup.
Okay.
But I do replay every matchup, review the results, tweak every one that needs to be tweaked. Yeah.
When it comes to the outs, so let's you get line to second, line to short, ground out third. Are those random, or are those outs kind of geared toward that batter?
They are based on the league average.
Okay.
So the outs are based on the league average.
Okay.
I've looked at doing it by batter, and I was actually going to do that with 2024, but I kind of ran out of time, and I just used what I've always used, which is the league average.
Is it league average for lefties and league average for righties?
For right-handers, yeah.
Okay, so it's not just a generic out chart. It is kind of geared toward the batting.
Yeah, I mean it's based on batting hand, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. So what do you have coming up actually? Like in Joe's future here with the game developing, what do you got coming up? Or what can you share with us?
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
I guess I could announce that Legends and Busts Set 2 for Payoff Pitch is coming end of July, early August.
Okay.
So that's, to be honest, that's already mostly done. I'm just reviewing everything, making sure that I had asked people to provide players that they wanted to see in Set 2. So I just want to make sure I get as many of them as possible. I have to save some players for Set 3, but...
Right, yeah. How do you, when you're doing a season from the past, I'm going to go back and do the season of Payoff Pitch or the season for Bankshot basketball or SSG, whatever it is. How do you come up with that? Do you kind of float the idea out and judge, what people think, or is this kind of you just pick a season you like, or how's that work?
Combination of both.
Yeah.
Usually, I've done most of the seasons that I want to do, but every now and then I'll learn something new about a prior season, and then I will decide to go ahead and rate that. But in most cases, people have
Were you able to talk to Rob?
Lost the
A
word.
little bit of input, maybe.
Yeah, they've requested. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So if you got a lot of requests from something, you're like, that might be
Yeah.
worth doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get requests almost every day, and if
Oh, I would imagine.
you know,
yeah.
if in that week or so there's 3 or 4 requests for one season, yeah, I'll bump them up on my list to do.
Nice.
But
Has there ever been a season in any of your games that either you don't like or have no interest in whatsoever, but you still created it because people wanted it? And you don't got to name the season. But,
not yet.
no?
Not yet.
Shopping or something?
I'm happy to do every season. I just
Just hit that $1,000.
need to.
She's still got lots of room.
Okay, I was just wondering that,
Sorry.
So anyway, no, that's all right. So anyway, well, Joe, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks.
And I
Steve.
got to say, I'm still really enjoying Payoff Pitch and still really enjoying Bankshot basketball. And somebody brought it here today, actually. So
Bankshot?
Bankshot, yeah. And I didn't know if you were bringing it. I actually have my cousin lives in Denver, and he's like, I see you're in town. I said, yeah, but I don't think I'll have time to visit you. And he goes, well, why don't I come down to the convention? So he referees basketball, I think, for like YMCA's and stuff like
Okay,
that.
good.
He's not like a professional rep, but he's a tall guy. He's into basketball, and so he's gonna come down tonight for the convention. And I was kind of hoping that somebody had it so I could, because it says it's a basketball game. I'm enjoying it. I want to show it to you, and see if you might have any interest, or at least me share it with you. You know what I mean? So hopefully tonight I'll be able to show that off. But anyway, yeah. But thanks for coming on, and go enjoy the rest of the convention.
Great. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.